1.20 is a quality of life update. We're not seeing a new boss or dimension, but instead we're seeing lots of smaller changes to help make the game better. Easy AFK wood farms, beautiful sign customization, and new spawn eggs are a great start, but here are the quality of life improvements that I would want the most, and these are ideas that you can totally steal if you're from Mojang and watching this. Please do take any or as many of these ideas as you'd like. I've been playing Minecraft for 11 years, and these are the things that would have totally made the game better, from a new game mode to faster movement, to even just rebalancing the way mob spawning works. However, for now, I want to quickly mention the important stat that greater than 99% of house fires happen to people who aren't subscribed to the IBX Toycat YouTube channel. You can do with that stat what you will, just like how you can do whatever you want when you're in creative mode, including fly. That's right, there is a form of travel exclusive to creative, and it really is a magical addition to be able to fly around the world until you need to fly somewhere very far away, and you're stuck just kind of pushing forwards and waiting a huge amount of time, which is kind of silly. This is meant to be creative mode. You have unlimited blocks, you have unlimited access to resources, there shouldn't be balancing features, and so why can't you fly very fast? In fact, it's often faster to put an elytra on and to fly that way, which should never be true. The creative superfly should be the fastest form of travel in Minecraft, and I can understand, like, okay, if you're building something, you don't want to fly fast all the time, there should be ways to up or down this speed. I could do this in the settings if you wanted to be really clunky, but I think a better way would just be have an acceleration that slowly picks up to max if you're going over 10 seconds, or keep the slow move controls, which already exist in creative, at least on Bedrock, and use those as the kind of default moving around speed, and make fast travel much faster. I think that when you are in creative, there shouldn't be a limit on how fast you can go, just like how when you make a minecart track, the same thing is true. Let me show you the minecart speed at max, because right now it's just on some regular rails. This is a minecart going on powered rails, and oh god, it's so painfully slow. Why is this true? This is on Java and Bedrock, by the way. On console edition, it was TU11 all the way back in 2013. They decided to double the minecart speed, and honestly, given the number of new transport mechanisms they've added since then, even double might not be enough to make this viable. There should be, again, we don't have to make it so all minecarts immediately change, but there should be some way to get a mega boost for these minecarts, even if you have to make a new type of powered rail, even if you have to make it so that more than 5 powered rails give you that, there should be some way to go faster than this, because otherwise, what is the point? Why would anyone go through the effort of making a minecart track and moving stuff through it when you can ride a horse or fly without needing any infrastructure, and those both go faster? And even if you were going to build some cool piece of track, it would have to be ice for a boat, because ice makes boats go much faster. That's before we're talking about blue ice. I'm just saying minecarts basically made themselves obsolete, and that is something they should totally reverse. They should make it so they go a lot faster, and it's a fun way to get around, kind of on rails. I mean, literally on rails. Right now, I think minecart speed is just a big problem for Minecraft. I do think, though, all movement methods could do with some rebalancing. Obviously, everyone knows that nerfing the elytra didn't work. You can't just unbalance things by removing something people have been using for years. However, I think increasing the boat speed did wonders for their usability. Boat speed and their ability on ice really does make them a great form of transport, at least in the early game. Maybe we should do something with other forms of transport. I think horses and donkeys would be first on the agenda, because right now horses are a great form of travel. They have no ongoing food requirement like an elytra requires fireworks. They don't need infrastructure. They can go up and down. It's actually quite cool to use horses, and donkeys are mostly the same, except I think that, donkeys obviously have the chest storage and they go far too slowly. If donkeys could go at similar speeds to horses, I know mules sort of solve this, we'd be a little bit better. And I just think that raising the cap on what donkeys and horses can do, now that they're in a different version of the game where everything else goes faster, would make people be excited to use these things again. And, while we're at it, something to do with the camel, am I right? Speaking of things to do with donkeys and the camel, I think having camels spawn exclusively in the deserts is not just a fun thing for, lore reasons, like Minecraft is realistic now, but it's also really great for the benefit of being able to find a camel when you want one. You go to the desert and you look around until a camel spawns, and now you've got it. I think the problem with donkeys is they spawn in all the same places that horses spawn. They're just much less common, and so I think that being able to go to a certain place where horses were more common than donkeys, but then also a separate place to that where donkeys were more common than horses, would be really good game balance. The average player is still going to encounter both all of the time, but if you know what you're looking for, you know what you have to do. I think the problems in Minecraft sometimes are when you know that something is vaguely achievable, but it's a really low chance. You don't want to just grind away and hope that a donkey donkey spawns, you want to be able to go somewhere and be the master of your own destiny. In my opinion, good game design is when you know exactly what to do, and even if it's hard, you know how to do it. Whereas random chances don't feel like they're hard, they just feel like you might get screwed in RNG or you might not. And that, to me, is the difference between making mobs spawn in specific biomes and making mobs that don't. In the same way, they did a really good job on the caves and cliffs, and they made it so the ores all spawn at different layers. So diamonds are best found at a different layer to gold, which is different to redstone. Iron is best found in mountains. There are all these sorts of tips that you don't need to know, but that can really improve your game if you're trying to find a lot of it. Trying to find a lot of donkeys to find the very best one would be great if you could go to a specific place. In fact, I'm going to say a step further than this, make it so every mob has some biome where it is best to spawn, or at least some set of biomes where it is better than the rest. Like going to a tiger biome to find wolves is something a lot of people know how to do, or any forest I should say, going to the desert for camels is quite obvious, but a lot of other mobs are just, you find them when you find them, which is fine for the cow or the pig, but for the chickens or the creepers, it is a serious problem. I think that when you look at the Nether redesign, they made a bunch of mobs which previously were just found everywhere, into somewhere for a specific biome, and it really adds a lot to those biomes. The basalt deltas is so much scarier with all of those magma cubes around, and being able to go to a specific biome to kill Enderman has made beating Minecraft so much more of an actual goal and something that is fun and doable and within your control versus something which is just random luck, and I personally like that. Speaking of random luck, I think the important thing we need to talk about is the desert well. Actually, you know what? Sorry, that must have been on my list by mistake. The desert well is perfect exactly how it is. Don't you dare touch it, Mojang. It is on the list with big salmon and building on top of the Nether, in that it is exactly right the way it is right now, and we just can't question it. Although, the top of the Nether thing is something I think should be addressed. Mojang is doing a really good job of balancing Bedrock and Java when it comes to major updates, but they do make mistakes all the time. I think Parity is a great case where they seem to have different standards for everything. Why are they updating the creator menu on Java and not bringing it on Bedrock to update it in line with that? In fact, they're not updating it on Bedrock whatsoever. They're just saying on Bedrock it's clearly perfect. I mean, not really at all, but it's clearly perfect, whereas the Java menu needs updating. Why can't we update both of those things at the same time? Why is it that there are bugs which are allowed to exist on Java, which are widely seen as features, and they're not going to come to Bedrock in any way? I think working out what parity means is a really big question, but it's one beyond the scope of this video. But something that can be done on both editions quite easily is some way to see saturation. On the Java edition, you can tell that a food has higher saturation when you eat it and it gives you more fast regeneration, but on the Bedrock edition, there is no way of knowing that a golden carrot is better than a cooked chicken, unless you're really paying attention to how it slowly drains your hunger afterwards, and even that, no one is counting every single time they jump, every second they sprint, every block they break after they eat food. They're just eating food whenever the bar goes down. You probably can vaguely tell that melon slices don't give you a lot of saturation and that cooked meat does, but it's really, really tricky to go anything beyond that. Mojang should have some additional way to show saturation in game. Obviously, the easiest example would be that faster regeneration, but that kind of goes back into the parity problem of why is it that it's been, it was 2014 or 15, they added, the faster regeneration to Java. 7 years of not adding it and arguing, oh, it's totally planned, is the same as not adding it, right? I mean, you can argue it's coming at some point, but I think that is a very important thing. I think that fast regeneration not being on Bedrock ruins the speed of the game. If you're in the Nether, you're getting really destroyed, you're on half a heart, and you want to do whatever it takes to survive this. Do you know how long it takes to regenerate? You might assume, oh yeah, like 15 seconds. No. Do you assume a minute? You're still underguessing. It is 8 seconds per half heart, and there's 19 of those, and oh god, it's just so long. It's so boring to sit there for 2 minutes and know that all you can do is wait 2 minutes or get a health potion. Why should you have to have a health potion when on Java it happens instantly? That is one of the dumbest differences in my opinion, and one of the easiest things they could fix. But the ultimate thing they could do that's more important than any of that is a new game mode. Hardcore is huge on YouTube, I don't need to tell you, and the idea fascinates. It immediately resonates with people that there is something interesting about the idea that your world is deleted when you die. Even super flats, which are just playing with super super limitations on yourself, or Amplified and even Peaceful are interesting to people because of the challenges they present. People want to be challenged in different ways, and I think that a whole new way to play would massively invigorate the game for so many. I think coming up with different ways to do this is tricky because you could argue, what if we go harder than hardcore? I think ultra hardcore is also interesting to people. Harder than hardcore is something that people would really like, but what if you added a new difficulty setting to Minecraft that actually made things more challenging rather than just increasing your difficulty? I think RuneScape has something like this called the Iron Man, where the goal is you cannot trade with other players. Obviously, there's no trading really in Minecraft, but what if it was the same kind of this is Minecraft without some of the conveniences that make it easier? There is no sleeping at night. Local difficulty goes much higher, so more mobs are wearing armor. Food could have a cooldown in the same way that ender pearls do, so that you can only eat food every 10 seconds. I mean, in real life, if you're just about to die, you don't eat 3 pork chops and immediately get back to health. You eat a pork chop, you wait 10 seconds, then you have another pork chop, and that's also dumb. But you get the idea of a new game mode for Minecraft. Making it hard would be great, but I also think that you could go the exact opposite way. What if you made a friendlier way to play Minecraft? People could enjoy that, but just some different way to play is something the game needs. I think when Minecraft's like almost golden age was when they started adding things like Amplified and custom superflats, and even the large biomes setting is really dumb when you think about it, but it intrigues people. New settings like that really massively expand the creativity that the game has, and if you want to expand the creativity your players can have, that is something that I really think could be done. I also do admit that would mostly appeal to survival players, so making some creative improvements could be really great. More control over creating a new world for people who just want a base place to build on, and so you could make the elevation less, just like how we used to. We could make specific biomes in specific places. Having full control of that from inside the game would be really wonderful, and although going all the way to MC Edit levels is probably a bit too complex, just having a few more sliders, a few more fun things to play with would be a great addition, at least as far as I am concerned. But what do you think about all of these ideas? If you have a favorite or you have an idea that you think is great in your own right, leave it in the comments down below, and that way, if anyone from Mojang does watch this, they can read those. I will be, of course, tweeting this to all the people I know at Mojang, and hopefully they can at least give it a watch. I understand that not all of these features can be added, and not all of them are even great ideas as far as everyone is concerned, but I hope that it's a good starting place as to how we can truly make 1.20 a better update together, and so I thank you very much for watching. Please do subscribe, because I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.